Okay, so hello everyone. I'm gonna make this quick because I want to help the guys back there stay on schedule or get back to schedule. DD Gaming is gonna start the task on the count of 3, and then we're gonna start explaining things. DD, when you're ready. Oh, I can't hear DD. Oh, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So on 3, 2, 1, go. So first thing first, the task actually starts 1.5 seconds after the very start, but that really doesn't matter.
Well, in fact, first of all, why don't we explain what is a task for people? Because it's the first one on the NoReset Marathon.
Right.
So what is a task? Why do we do tasks?
So a task, first of all, for those that don't know, is a tool-assisted speedrun. So it is a speedrun basically played by a robot. That means that for many days, actually, I've been working on playing in the emulator frame by frame, trying to find the optimal path to go through all the stages. But that also includes trying to manipulate RNG, trying to route the game as optimally as possible, even better than a human ever could.
Yeah, because right now it's important to say that no one has a controller right now. No one is playing. It's just the two of us and in a video.
Yeah, it's the computer playing the game. But it is played in real time right now.
Oh, okay.
As you can see at the top right, there's the frame count and the total frame for the final task, as well as the input display. Top left, actually, I said top right. So let me start explaining a bit what is going on, because there is a lot of to unpack, and I have until stage 1.8 before all the very
interesting strat.
Interesting strat starts. Actually, let's start with the forest here. The forests are a little bit special in that they allow you to move through the air after jumping on a trampoline. Normally, in every other stages, you have to go straight up and then horizontally at the right height. You don't have any other choice. So we'll be abusing that a lot during the jungle stages. So first thing first, you'll see a lot of the time I'll be jumping early to be really on the edge of the floor. That's simply because it is a lot faster to go back, and I'll be doing that a lot during the run. It's gonna save a few frames every time. Something else that you'll see a lot that I call quick turns are every time I'm going to get a cheese piece or whatever item I need to finish the level, I will jump in the air and I have a 2-frame window to turn at the right time to be optimal. Here there is a little bit of RNG manipulation, kinda. It's more based on your position. I've been lucky when I made the task at this point, so I didn't actually have to like work through the RNG. But we want to get as many items as possible. Items are the things I've been collecting since the start that you can see at the top, way over there.
Under the MP2,
The little like cat toys will stick them in place. The fish will go forward through the entire map and pick up the cats along the way.
We're talking about the small cats here.
Yeah, the small cats, the mucus. Actually, the fish also takes the big cat, which is called the Nyamko.
Yep.
And we'll be using that as optimally as we can during the run. Here's another example of 2 quick turns being done, one at the trampoline and one at the cheese. And we are now at 1.8, where there is the first instance of RNG manipulation. So basically the RNG, well, first of all, I'll show where. Here. What happened exactly is that I pressed the B button for a little while longer, because the RNG for the Mukies, amongst other things, is based on your inputs and when you press some of those inputs. So a technique I'll use a lot is by pressing, whenever I have to press B to jump, I'll use this occasion to press B a little bit longer and then go further into the task, try things out, go back, change the frame, go further, and back and forth like this. When doing the task, there is a lot of work being done trying to go back and forth like this. A very important point to take into account as well is actually there's a trick coming up right now. Here I pressed right for, I didn't press right for 1 frame, which positioned the Muki perfectly so I would be able to jump, followed by timing myself with the cloud to be able to jump above Nyanko and him dying before I land. Yeah, there's a lot of going on at the same time.
So there are things that you barely can do as a human.
Yeah.
But, well...
That, by the way, was 3 frame perfect inputs just to make sure that you can land on the right time at Nyanko.
So, humanly, that's almost quite impossible.
Yeah, you won't see that in runs. Here as well, there's a little bit of trying to make sure that you can time the cats so that you can jump over them as they jump towards you. This way you don't have to jump over it, because that's something to take into account. Every time you jump, you lose frames. You lose, I believe, around 8 frames, if I remember correctly, so that stacks up really quick.
For something more general, I mean, for people who don't know TAS, yes, it's a computer. People are like, okay, what's the interest? It's not someone that's playing, but it's allowed to show some, like, humanly impossible way to finish a game and to optimize the time.
TASs are a showcase. They are a showcase. They are still somewhat of a showcase of skill, but they are especially a showcase of the entire community coming together, researching a game, trying to understand a game, and running it as optimally as they can. It's really a cooperative work. Like, I sat down at my home for like many days, many nights trying to do this, but I'm not the only one who came up with strats. I actually came up with a lot of strats and a lot of the routing because Ben over here organized a tournament, and that's how we came up to know the game. And I did a lot of the routing work, but there's a lot of work that has been done by a lot of other people, which we'll try to shout out at the end of the run. There was a little... no, not yet, okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything going through my notes, but there wasn't anything too special being done in that last jungle, just some quick moving around through the vines. You can actually jump in the vines, which helps you go up faster.
Just to compare, your video is lasting...
1949. As we can see by the estimate, that's the actual exact time we will be seeing.
And the actual world record is not even under 20 minutes?
Yeah, it's 21 something. I do believe GoPogo still holds it, and...
I haven't checked it for quite a while, but I think it's 21... maybe Mooney remembers, but he's not listening, so...
Yeah.
21,
21, 25.
21, 21?
21, 21. All right, that was 21, 21. So yeah, in the level something 6, it's it's just like a small Easter egg to the old Mappy, the old original Mappy. And every time we go through the door to try and finish it, and in that last level, I jumped over a cat just to go through the door at the same time, which I actually died there way too many times, RTA.
Really?
Yeah. It should be an easy jump, but somehow.
So we almost halfway of what a regular run is. And, well, I think stuff will show more and more as we go forward, because there's a more restriction as we go forward.
Yes, every time we get into a new world, there's new stuff coming up. There's more walls, the cats go faster, and...
shorter ladders, and...
Yeah.
Cats are going faster as well.
That's, right there, that's an interesting trick that I actually discovered very, very late in the tournament. I think we were in semi-finals by the time we discovered that. By going back and forth on a trampoline, you actually break it faster because the animation of going right and left is faster. So that helps us saving a bit more time as well, which stacks up over the course of an entire run. But that's another... wait, is there anything very important here? No, just going really fast.
You're using the back and forth jump to go through, just like you explained a moment ago. So
yeah, so that's actually something, another like big thing that is good about TASs is that they make you discover the game a lot more. Like, you get a lot more technical and a lot more like like you feel like what the game is like frame by frame. You get to know exactly how everything acts. And if you're someone like, I believe, Maliman, or you start trying to read the code or trying to read the values, you can even understand how a lot of the enemy interactions and AI start working. Which then helps a lot the actual RTA runners. So yes, it's a show up, it's a showcase, but it also helps discovering more things for runners that...
yeah, there were a few people working on it. Like you said, you did the task, but it was a community contribution.
Yeah, an interesting jump here where I actually manipulated the Muki into going to the right, so I could jump over it at the same time I pick up the item, so I don't lose any time.
Well, what is fun as well in the task is that why we can't optimize it, because there's no doubt. The brain doesn't interfere in the process. So, of course, you see some very dangerous moment. But yeah, I mean,
sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. Two things here. First of all, at the top of the green level, we saw only one Muki I had to jump over because I had to manipulate them so there wasn't 3 Mukis over there. Here, very important trick, going through the wall. That's something that's only possible in 3-4 in jungle levels because of the physics I was talking about earlier, the physics change. And it's only a trick that's feasible in 3-4 because that's the only one who has a wall by a trampoline. I'll say here there was a lot of jumping almost frame perfectly on the trampoline so that you don't die falling down, but you also don't go up. A little bit of RNG manipulation here to get an additional fish. Yeah, starting from here on out, there's going to be a lot of things to unpack really quick. Also in 3-3, something that happened, I picked up the torch so that we could see the wall clip in 3-4. That's something that's not in the currently online task. That's a NoReset specific, so that you guys could actually see the trick. Funnily enough, though, since in my very first version of the task, I actually finished with a few more items, and I didn't do that fish the manipulation so that the fish spawns and I get an additional item. I had 3 additional items I could just use to pretty much as a get out of jail free cards whenever I didn't feel like manipulating the RNG for 2 or 3 more hours. So I actually finished 22 frames earlier than the original task. I do plan on actually optimizing this a lot more by taking into account which detours I can make to get items versus how much time do I save using them. So 3-7, is there anything special in 3-7? Oh, actually, I'm so sorry, we missed it in 3-5. But basically, 3-5 was the hardest level to route because the Mukis were all the ways in the way. I had to do 4 RNG and positioning manip, and I'm like still not sure how I managed to go through that. Like, I do not want to have to redo 3-5 at any point because I'm not sure I can like re-optimize it that good with all the RNG. Because whenever you do a change, your inputs are not the same, which means the RNG changes. So if I change something in the level to 4, it might affect the entire rest of the task, which happened to me 3 times. I discovered... It happened to me 3 times where I discovered new tricks by, like, the last 4 levels of the run. So I had to redo the entire thing.
All the war is crap because...
yeah, it saves, like, 3 frames every time. Like, jumping off ladders, that's something we can see sometimes. When you jump off ladders, like jumping is slow, but you land on the ground faster, so you actually save 3 frames. It's just 3 frames, but that's still a time save.
Yeah, well, TAS is all about saving frames.
Yeah, it's all about saving every single frame.
So it's part of the job.
You know, don't save the cats, save the frames. Here is very interesting. I threw 1 fish, 2 fish, and then jumped over the rest of the Mukis. And I tried to throw the fish, the fishes as late as possible, actually the last frame possible, so I can take as many cats as I can with me. And here there's a little bit more manipulation so that there isn't as many cats going after me, so I don't have to lose so much time. Here, waiting for the cat to go up the ladder so I can go over him. Also, fun fact, you cannot jump over a stationary enemy. You don't have enough velocity. So you cannot jump over an enemy that's like at the top of a ladder.
Okay.
You have to wait for it to start moving before you can jump over it.
Not a Mappy doesn't jump very high, so you have to have the counter effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
yeah, we have until 4-4, so we have 2 levels to maybe do some shoutouts, or if there's anything else we want to do. So big shoutouts to Ogo Pogo, who has suffered with me through my streams, through the TAS, helping me, making sure that I don't forget anything, going through everything else. Big shoutouts as well to Mullyman, who has been Mullyman over here, who has been a huge help understanding this game and understanding the AI pattern, which RTA has been like tremendously helpful. It reduced a lot of stress knowing how the enemies actually act. Shoutouts to, well, Ben here, like I said. Shoutouts to, oh my god, who else was
Magic.
there? Magic. Yeah. Magic QC.
Magic 1.
Yes. Wow. I'm forgetting so many people. Super Mega Dav, who was like part of the competition. Mumuni, yeah, Mumuni, who actually discovered Mumuni. We had a big rivalry during the competition. It was the strats versus the raw innate power of suffering through the game again and again and again. Mooney, who actually pushed me a lot to try like a lot of more riskier strats, and discovered a lot of new routing. So 4-4 here. There's a lot of happening. There's a lot of paths we skip. We're supposed to go through those vines, we don't. We're supposed to go through those vines, we don't. We just go over under them, going back and under through the dark. So there's still the floors over here, so we're once again going to go through the floor, avoid the Mewkey, just like if it's normal, you know.
In a normal world, I will panic right now.
Yeah, this is not RTA viable at all. Shout out to Piranha and to every runners that died there. Way too many runs died at 4-4.
We pay you respect, Piranha.
4-5, nothing too special. Just once again trying to go through the most optimal route, trying to make sure that Mewkeys are not in our ways.
Maybe, how long did it take? Do you have a number of hours?
Numbers of hours, I'm not too sure. I'd say about at least 3 days worth of 2 to 3 days worth of hours. So.
And we talked
more than 48.
Starting, scrapping the whole thing.
Yeah, the entire thing, and that's not counting like actual routing that I had to do for RTA, because I actually started the task like way late in the competition. So there's a lot of work that was already done just discovering the game. In terms of man hours, putting everyone's work together, it's a lot. I'm not sure how much, but it's definitively many days. For like this is at first sight a very simple game, but there's like so many things going on behind, so many like small tricks and optimizations. It really gives you a new appreciation for any other tasks actually, and like any runners who do these things like in real time. I'm thinking like Super Mario 1. Which is basically almost as fast as the TAS itself. It's absolutely incredible. Another risky jump. There's been a lot of risky jumps, trying to like jump right in between 2 cats, and there's a lot of things that are just mind-blowing. Like here, just last frame possible, and oh no, we died.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, we didn't expect it.
The game. The pod is bad.
Yeah.
No, for real, that's a def abuse, which I'm so glad we actually got into the run. I terrorized 2 def abuse. One was actually slower because of cycles, which means that because you had to wait for platform to go at the right time, def abuse was actually slower. But this one saves a lot of time, and we actually use RTA. Not only that, but if you have the life count to lose it, it's most of the time safer to do that, safer and faster, if you do have the life to spend. And now we are at the very last level. The time is going to be when we speak to Mappy Co, I believe.
Yep.
It's the small...
Mappy Junior.
Mappy Junior, yeah, Mappy Junior. But isn't Mappy Co his wife?
Yeah, sometime yes, sometime no. Complicated relationship.
So the time is going to be soon. It's at the end of this sub area.
Do you have time to add something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
In fact, of course it's done by computer, but it's a nice documentation, and documentation is a very important part that we don't talk much when it comes to speedrunning. Time. The documentation is something we don't speak a lot, but it's very appreciated by the community when we can document those runs, and that's a nice document that we can have for the map.
Yeah, definitively. Run.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Avasam.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. Oh yeah, shout out to Ace Gamer Sam, who also helped commentate the competition. Yeah, but big shout out. If I forgot your name, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names, but shout out to everyone who helped tremendously with all of this. And without further ado, we're gonna leave and let the show go on. So
yeah, but the next race,
we're gonna transition right away and be right back for Elliot versus Creator with Mart SR, Bullyman, and Moo Mooney. Be right back.